Guardians of the Galaxy was initially released on October 26, 2021, and came to Game Pass on March 10, 2022. When this was revealed, it was looked upon with doubt after the disastrous Marvel's Avengers in 2020. The game we got was a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. A quick note before we jump in, this is a very heavy story game. As such, we will only be showing footage from the first 3 hours of the game, and this review won't include any spoilers. With that said, grab your Walkman, subscribe, and kickstart your heart. We're here to let you know why Guardians of the Galaxy is worth your time. Guardians of the Galaxy plays it safe in regards to its gameplay, but with that safety comes some serious polish. Gameplay is divided up into 2 slices, exploration and combat. Exploration usually consists of exploring semi-linear environments and solving some light puzzles with the help of the Guardians' abilities, be it Groot making bridges or Drax lifting heavy things to make platforms. This is not groundbreaking stuff, but it works to break up the combat sections and actually feeds into the narrative of you all being a team. It's the little things that count. Combat is where the real fun is though. This is nuts in the best possible way. The opening of the game allows you to learn the combat systems in a fun way. You play as Star-Lord, who can shoot enemies, fly around with booster rockets, and command the team to use special abilities. Whilst I'm disappointed that you can't choose a main Guardian, the choice to have you commanding the team was a great one. The command system is fluid and makes every fight a team-oriented ordeal. This is another thread of gameplay into narrative. Your team starts out uncoordinated and with weaker abilities, and as you progress through the game and learn how everyone operates, the team becomes better in tandem with the story. It's a real achievement to get this link working well, and Guardians of the Galaxy pulls it off effortlessly. The feel of combat is top-notch. Attacks feel weighty and enemies have a great movement about them. These battles are always high energy and it provides plenty of great moments where I was just in awe of how damn cool everything looked. Finally, we should touch on the huddle system. This is a great addition. After some time in combat, you can call your team and give them some words of encouragement. The right dialogue choice is usually really easy to discern, but your reward is some boosted stats and a licensed song to jam to for the rest of the battle. The only detriment to the gameplay was that I found it repetitive towards the end, and as I stated before, it all feels a little safe. There are some cool ideas here, but I'm left wishing that the developers had pushed the boat out a little further than what they had. Overall, Guardians of the Galaxy is filled to the brim with high energy combat and some interesting exploration. But for the most part, what you see is what you get, and what Guardians gets is a 4 out of 5 for gameplay. This is one of the best looking games ever made. The colour and variety in environments is top notch. Every single area, from the Milano to the Quarantine Zone, Seknarf 9 and beyond, all have a unique look and feel to them. This is the weirdness that should be capitalised on when you set your game in space. I constantly found myself stopping to look around in awe. The game opens incredibly strong with the Quarantine Zone. This long-gone pink war zone is a joy to just look at, with expansive open spaces and tight interior shipwrecks. Seknarf 9 looks like a truly organic world, with insane lightning storms that are simply breathtaking. And this is just the non-spoilery bits we're allowed to show you in the video. The user interface is very punchy, but also unobtrusive. It worked fantastically in tandem with the gameplay, as it added an extra punch whilst always being clear to read and understand in the heat of combat. And we got this far without even mentioning the music. I dig the score. It's clearly pulling inspiration from the MCU films, but that is a good decision. Those tracks had a unique energy about them, and the game score delivers the same energy. On top of that, you're getting an entire album of original songs by game fictional band Star-Lord, where Peter Quill gets his namesake. This is just really cool, on top of being a fantastic addition to the overall world and soundtrack. It's a rarity that music is used to intertwine with narrative in such a way, and is even better in the context that the crew could have just stopped at licensing a bunch of 80s songs for the soundtrack. Now let's talk about that licensed soundtrack. Holding Out for a Hero, Everybody Have Fun Tonight, Relax, The Final Countdown, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, Tainted Love, We Built This City, Take On Me, and Kickstart Your Heart. This isn't even the whole track list, and it is more than enough to enhance the experience massively. There are a few slower songs that don't always fit the hectic pace of combat, but they're never actively detracting from it. I'm just floored. To have a game blend industry-leading visuals with both a well-composed original score and wonderfully chosen licensed music is a sight to behold, and I'd be foolish not to give the art direction here the full 5 out of 5.
Or weather. Anyways, I'm sure it looks worse than it is.
We're really firing on all cylinders here. As stated before, we're skipping out on the story spoilers here, but we will give you an idea of what you're in for. At its core, this is a story about trauma and grief. Every member of the Guardians has something that haunts them, and it's overcoming them that allows the story to progress. It would be enough to have each character be well written on their own, but where Guardians of the Galaxy really shines is the interplay between the core group. What starts as a group of individuals all out for profit slowly morphs into a solid team united in their companionship. The build up to this end goal feels natural, and there are plenty of player choices thrown in throughout the story to really get you thinking about what each member of the team means to you. There is never a wrong choice, only the opportunity to explore the characters more thoroughly. Collectibles also play a role in furthering the story. Each one gives you a little more detail about the world and the characters, and it provides great extrinsic motivation for exploring the entire game. I could go on for days about how much I enjoyed this story, but with our format, all we can do is give it the full 5 out of 5 and tell you to go play it yourself. No great package is complete without an incredible array of settings. We played through the game on PS5 and came back to grab footage on the Xbox Series S, and can safely say we encountered no bugs on either platform. The game obviously looks better on the beefier hardware of the PS5, but to criticise the look on Series S would just be nitpicking and bias. This game runs fantastically. Then you have an absolutely huge array of settings. This is the kind of stuff I live for. Control settings allow you to look at the game controls and choose ability control schemes. There are also options for target lock break, lock target switching, controller vibration, X and Y axis inverts for character control, and an additional stick invert toggle for flying the Milano. Additionally, you have sensitivity sliders for both the X and Y axis. Video allows you to calibrate your screen area and provides a toggle to limit the frame rate to a solid 30 FPS on Series S. On PS5, you get some additional options for ray tracing. Audio has sliders for master, effects, voice and music volume. There's also a toggle for licensed music. If you're not a streamer and you turn this off, then I cannot help you. On top of that, you also get some audio accessibility options. There's a slider for loud volume, EQ presets, and a toggle for focus mix, which makes non-critical audio elements quieter. If you're really into getting the best sound, then there are further advanced settings, which allow you to tweak the game's audio to your own speaker configuration. There are also some base sound preference settings if you don't want to go full custom. This is absolutely the cherry on top of some already fantastic audio settings. The game has settings for all major languages, and you can separate spoken and subtitled languages. If you want to play Japanese subbed Guardians of the Galaxy, then you're more than welcome. There are toggles for subtitles, overheard subtitles and closed captions. I like this because whilst I can hear a spaceship crash, I can't always hear Star-Lord's quips. These settings allow me to focus on the character dialogue and nothing else. Advanced subtitle settings allow you to show who's talking, change subtitle size, letter spacing, make the text bold, have a background, invert the colour, and choose the opacity of said background. The menu also dynamically shows you what your subtitles will look like. This is fantastic. Finally, there is an accessibility menu that collates all of the accessibility tweaks into one spot with a few additional goodies. Finally, we have the difficulty options. You have your standard easy, medium and hard settings, but what we're most interested in is the custom settings. First off, you can see exactly what each level of difficulty scales, and then you can fine tune from there. There are options for slowdown during Guardians mode, how much damage you deal, how long abilities take to cool down, auto win for huddles, cost of elemental attacks, damage received level, shield regen speed, death event timer, and a slider for vulnerability slider. Deathgate forgiveness scale, outline for objects, the compass, and how strong the hint system is. Every single setting mentioned in this section has a full description of exactly what it does. This is the absolute gold standard for quality specs, and with all that said, Guardians easily nails a 5 out of 5. Guardians of the Galaxy is a fully fleshed single-player experience that I never felt was wasting my time. The game was made with a story in mind and for the player to have fun at its core. Hard drive footprint is a little on the large side at just over 40 gigabytes. For what you're getting, I'd say this is a decent size, but it is still a hefty download. This section feels very one and done, but there isn't a lot to say. Guardians of the Galaxy is a game that respects your time and has no extra fluff to detract from that. A hefty download does knock a point off, but a 4 out of 5 is still a solid score on our commitment scale. 2021 had some seriously solid games, and Guardians of the Galaxy can stand proud amongst the greats. This is a fantastic space romp with a kick-ass soundtrack and a cast you'll just fall in love with. This is the kind of major release the industry was in desperate need of, and I'd be happy to give it my recommendation just on that. But Guardians of the Galaxy fires on all cylinders to provide one of the finest single-player offerings in a long time.